Disney World, the destination everyone has ever gone to or dreams of going to. It really has it all. Magic Kingdom brings in the kids and nostalgic adults. You have your classic Disney characters there, and also classic Disney attractions. Hollywood Studios gets the teens and young adults, with their Star Wars and of course the Muppet You Monsters. And Animal Kingdom is for anyone who likes animals and Avatar. And according to the box office, that's probably around 10% of the entire world's population. Yep, that's all the parks. Wait, am I forgetting something? Oh, right, of course. The water parks. Wait, no. Isn't there another theme park in Disney World?
Disney World? No.
Disney World?
Universal Studios? Afraid not.
Leisure World?
Sorry, Grandpa.
Gator Gulch?
You wish.
Leisure World?
Grandpa, you're not even going.
Wait a minute. I know where we're going. Oh, it's horrible! Oh, it's even boring to fly over it. Oh, God.
Oh, how could I forget about EPCOT, aka Experimental Prototype Community of Tomorrow. Starting out as a city of the future ruled by Walt Disney, to a theme park after his death when the company realized that running an entire city would be crazy. And also this was pre-Disney Renaissance, so they didn't even have the money to make that into a reality. Now, after the Disney Renaissance, well, that's a completely different story, which is not the story I'm going to tell today. I believe there are two perspectives that people have on EPCOT. One is what EPCOT was like on opening day, with a focus on edutainment. Basically, it's a theme park made in the image of scholastic utopian aesthetic. This is the viewpoint of people who actually went to EPCOT around its opening, and Disney adults. The other perspective is that EPCOT has the World Showcase where you can get hammered on expensive cocktails, and everything else which is boring. This is the viewpoint of basically everyone else. But I do not fault these people for thinking EPCOT is like this. No. I blame the mouse. EPCOT is one of the only Disney parks that has completely abandoned buildings, which you can just steal animatronics from. It's a complete shell of its former self, and that's because Disney doesn't want to prioritize it. They're probably just waiting for Universal to tear down Marvel Superhero Island so they can transform EPCOT into Marvel Land. But I won't have it. EPCOT is an amazing park, but those higher-ups at Disney just can't see it. So allow me to take you on a ride to explore what EPCOT could be under my master plan. This is Fixing EPCOT. But before that, we need to quickly go over the history of EPCOT. On October 1st, 1982, EPCOT debuted as the highly anticipated follow-up to Disney's first park in Florida, Magic Kingdom. As mentioned previously, the original plans for EPCOT was going to be a literal city just ruled by Walt Disney, but for obvious reasons those plans fell through after his death. So management and the Imagineers took ideas from those original plans in order to make their new park. What they decided upon was instead of making a city of tomorrow, they would devote a park to showcasing what a city of tomorrow could be. And what better way to showcase innovations than with a World's Fair? So the park, like a World's Fair, would showcase new developments in science and technology that people of the future will benefit from. But wait, it's called the World's Fair for a reason. That's because it features pavilions for countries around the world. Well, that's not a problem, as the park will also showcase different countries and an appreciation of their cultures. And for the 80s, that basically just means an appreciation of their food and wine. Now, you may think that those two ideas would clash with each other thematically. And so EPCOT was born and split into two areas. Future World would feature the pavilions, focus on the scientific and technological future stuff, while World Showcase would have the pavilions based on different countries. Spoiler alert, most of my renovations are going to be targeted towards Future World, because that's where you have the literal abandoned buildings, but I also have some plans for World Showcase, so stay tuned. With all that being said, we can now begin for our first attraction. Everything ready. I have the Disney sweater on, the Disney hat, even though none of it is EPCOT. I don't have any EPCOT merch. Maybe that's part of the problem. Okay, so let's start off with the most iconic piece of EPCOT, the golf ball. Yes, I know it's called Spaceship Earth. Shut up, CommuniCore Girl 82. I think Spaceship Earth is boring. Okay. Put down the pitchforks and torches and just listen. Spaceship Earth is a 15-minute long dark ride that shows you animatronic scenes of advancements in human communications. And look, in my renovations, I will never support the destruction of an animatronic unless Disney would be willing to build a more advanced model to replace it, which we all know they wouldn't. There's nothing wrong with a long, kind of boring ride. They're very important in cutting down on theme park wait times, for example. But let's imagine you're a kid, and you're told that there's a ride inside the giant EPCOT golf ball. And you're so excited because who knows what's in there, and then you end up riding Spaceship Earth. Oh, I just know that's going to crush your childhood sense of wonder. I say we take Spaceship Earth and move it somewhere else. And by that, I mean the ride. Hollow out the golf ball and put in a new ride. I assume that Spaceship Earth's structure can't contain any thrill rides, so we'll keep it a dark ride. But to better fit with the name, it will be about the history of space travel, from Sputnik to the hypothetical Mars colonizations. The ride will probably be sponsored by SpaceX. Now, hold on. I know Elon Musk is a terrible person, but we need the sponsorships. For those who don't know, when Epcot first opened, each pavilion was sponsored by corporations. They would pour money into them and help fund construction and maintenance, in exchange for those corporations' logos and marketing elements to appear throughout the pavilion. Basically subliminal advertising, cue hit and make a joke here. Today, most of these sponsorships have been dropped, and when a pavilion loses a sponsorship, Disney's more likely to leave it abandoned or demolish it altogether. Spaceship Earth had a total of 3 sponsorships throughout its lifetime, but today it has none. Now, it's probably safe because the Epcot ball is Epcot's mascot. Sorry, Figment. But I don't know, Disney might be incentivized to just ride a ride inside and replace it with nothing, because it's cheaper and the ride isn't that popular. So yes, unfortunately, we'll have to work with Elon or some other evil business tycoon. Sorry. Listen, I'll trick him into keeping his influence on the ride at a minimum. He absolutely will not narrate it because that'll make the ride an actual hell, and he won't get an animatronic. Maybe just a static statue that they bring out during a Halloween overlay to scare the kids. Now, this new ride will be called Journey from Earth to Mars, and it'll be around 5 to 10 minutes with a similar ride system to Spaceship Earth. So while writing the script, I had an idea for a way to create a connective tissue for all my revamped pavilions. So in the Imagination Pavilion, which we'll talk about later, one of the rides has a character named Figment. He's a purple dragon, and he's the de facto mascot for the Imagination Pavilion and for Epcot as a whole. So I thought it would be fun to create a mascot for all the pavilions. Kinda. See, I'm only doing one for World Showcase because I see the entire section as one pavilion. Also, I don't want to draw 12 additional mascots. So for Spaceship Earth, I was considering making a mascot a rocket or a satellite, possibly Sputnik, though I doubt Disney would want me to have a Soviet creation as one of their mascots. Then I thought, wait, Spaceship Earth already has a mascot. The Epcot ball, hello, aka Spaceship Earth itself. So meet Stella. I don't know where I'm gonna put the mascots. Meet Stella the ball, Stella the sphere. You know what? It's up to interpretation. As you can see, Stella is fairly one-to-one with her IRL counterpart, though I decided to anthropomorphize her and give her a beanie with a star beret, which is a reference to the overlay Disney gave Spaceship Earth to celebrate the new millennium. Yeah, we're going deep with this video. Now, Stella herself won't appear on the ride. This isn't the case with all the mascots I'm making, but some of them just wouldn't make sense on their corresponding ride. She will, however, appear as an interactive animatronic after you exit the ride. And where would that be? Well, the gift shop, of course. See, Disney, I'm trying to help you make money. So to reiterate, the original Spaceship Earth ride isn't being destroyed, I'm just moving it somewhere else. And that somewhere else is... OMG, CommuniCore Girl 82, look, it's your section, and it's a pavilion that doesn't exist anymore. So CommuniCore's main gimmick was showcasing modern computers, and modern is in quotes because this was the 80s when most households didn't even have a computer. Now, I say the pavilion doesn't exist anymore, but the building still exists and was rethemed into Innoventions, which is basically a more basic version of Disney Quest, where they had a lot of video games along with computers. Now, I say the building still exists, and it did until 2019 when Disney demolished it and replaced it with Moana Journey of Water. Oh, I'm sorry, I mean Journey of Water inspired by Moana. Yeah, whatever, say bye-bye to Moana. And listen, I love Moana, but she doesn't belong at Epcot. I mean, I guess if I added a Polynesian pavilion at the World Showcase, she would belong there, but I'm not gonna do that. Sorry, Moana. Now, CommuniCore originally standed for Community Core, but I'm gonna change this to stand for Communication Core so I can put Spaceship Earth in that area. The ride will have to be renamed, of course, perhaps Journey of Communication, inspired by Anderson Cooper and Andy Cohen, who are of course gonna be our new hosts for the ride. They do a great job during CNN's New Year's Eve show. Just give him some alcohol during the recording session and we got a ride. Also, Anderson Cooper is a journalist and Andy Cohen is an interviewer, so it fits with the theme of the ride. Now, CNN probably can't sponsor the new CommuniCore because their parent company, Warner Brothers Discovery, obviously doesn't have any money, or I guess I should say Netflix now, so it can't be sponsored by Meta, I guess. Listen, I'm sorry, but almost every large company is evil, so you can't blame me. Now, along with the ride, the new CommuniCore will also have a showcase of up-to-date technology like, I don't know, the Meta glasses. Listen, who cares? People will just go to the pavilion for the ride anyways. And besides from CommuniCore Girl 82, no one cares about bringing back CommuniCore. So honestly, I'm doing you a favor, CommuniCore Girl 82. Oh, what's that, CommuniCore Girl 82? Who's the mascot for the pavilion? Well, I'm so glad you asked. Meet Carrie, the carrier pigeon, representing one of the earliest forms of long-distance communication. And yes, she will appear on the ride, though I'm unsure if it's going to be at a Figment level where she's basically another co-host for the ride, or she'll only appear during one show scene. Maybe you guys can help me decide. Comment down below. Okay, on to our next pavilion. So the main attractions that were in the Imagination Pavilion were Honey, I Shrunk the Audience, Journey into Imagination with Figment, and Captain EO Tribute. We are not bringing back Captain EO with the deepfake AI Michael Jackson, but we can have a new 4D ride to replace Honey, I Shrunk the Audience because I'm tired of theme parks getting rid of their 4D rides. Okay, like where's Shrek 4D? That was such an iconic ride at Universal and you got rid of it for what? Minions? Another Minions ride even though you already replaced it with that? Sorry. This isn't about Universal, this is about EPCOT. I can fix Universal another time. Anyways, 4D rides are fun, they eat up crowd sizes, so we're gonna have a new Imagination themed 4D ride created by the wonderful folks at Pixar. Now, I would like them to base it off of an original IP, but Disney would probably just make it an Inside Out themed ride, which, fine, I'll allow it. As long as you're making actual new stuff for your parks. And then, of course, you have Journey into Imagination Figment, which was originally Journey into Your Imagination, which everyone hated, which was originally Journey into Imagination, which everyone loved. Okay, so Journey into Imagination was a full animatronic show with some of the most creative and awe-inspiring imagery I've ever seen in a ride. Well, okay, I never actually seen it because it was close before I was even born, but then Disney and Kodak, the sponsor of the building for the time, wanted to revamp the ride into something that was cheaper to operate. So they replaced with Journey into Your Imagination, which no one liked, and barely featured Figment, a popular character that was created for Journey into Imagination. So instead of bringing back Journey into Imagination, they just revamped Journey into Your Imagination, but included more Figment scenes, which included a fart scene. Love it. And people hated it slightly less, and that's currently where we're at. So my solution is to bring back Journey into Imagination. That's it. Oh, you may be wondering if I'm going to keep Figment as a mascot for this pavilion, and the answer is absolutely. He is a cash cow, or rabbit dragon. Do you remember how people went absolutely insane for his popcorn bucket a few years ago? Now, to fit in with the design for the rest of my mascots, I did give Figment a slight redesign. There's nothing wrong with his original design, I just needed there to be some consistency. So here's my Figment. The first question you probably have is, where are his arms? That's because he's no longer Figment the Dragon. This is a sad Figment the Wyvern, and for those not in the know, that's just a dragon without arms. I think if I gave him arms, the design would be a little overcrowded. And besides, isn't this a more imaginative take on Figment anyways? See what I did there? Okay, whatever. Now, of course, to do this, Disney would need another sponsor, and I think it should just be Apple. They have money. If Tim Cook wants Figment to hold an iPhone during the ride, then so be it. Though I guess my Figment doesn't have arms, so give him some AirPods. Oh, no ears. Sorry, Tim. Now, with an Apple budget, I'd expect Disney to have this new Journey to Imagination be at an even higher quality than the original ride. And that's already a pretty high bar. I'm thinking we use a trackless dark ride system like in Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, or Rise of Resistance. Though I want less projections and more practical sets. Though if we have to have projections, then I want them to get really imaginative with it. Make the projections really surreal and trippy. Like, I want the kids riding this to basically be experiencing their first drug trip before their actual first drug trip. Or, okay, maybe not that far. Whatever. Like, you can't even describe it. Maybe I'm getting too vague. But whatever, we have Apple money, so go crazy with it. So, World of Motion technically isn't a pavilion anymore, it's just the location of Test Track, but also Spaceship Earth counts as a pavilion, and that's just a ride, so I have no idea how Disney decides on these naming conventions. So, World of Motion is a very similar concept to Spaceship Earth, an omni-mover dark ride, but this one takes you through the history of, well, motion, which was inspired by Ford's Magic Skyway when the flagship attraction Disney unveiled during the 1964 to 1965 World's Fair. In that ride, you're traveling from prehistoric times to the future inside of a Ford car. They also had other attractions would later be developed into the Carousel of Progress, It's a Small World, and the Tiki Room. Sorry for the tangent, I just need to make sure that the Disney fans watching this know that I play ball. But back to World of Motion. Basically, I have to make a choice. Should I remove Test Track and make a ride more similar to World of Motion, or should I just keep Test Track? This may be controversial, but I think I'm going to keep Test Track the way it is. First of all, Disney just renovated the ride. I haven't personally rode the new Test Track, but I hear people really like it. Second, we will have plenty of other omni-mover dark rides in my new EPCOT. You see, in theme park design, I don't know why I'm acting like I have any experience in theme park design, but what I assume is that you want a balance of all sorts of rides. If you had a theme park where every ride was an over 10-minute dark ride, the wait times would be absurd. That's why in Fantasyland, which has most of those rides, the wait times are like literal hours long for every single ride in there. But if you had a theme park where every ride was a roller coaster, Six Flags, then people outside of coaster heads would get very tired of every ride being a roller coaster. That's why it's advantageous to have multiple ride options for multiple kinds of riders. Test Track is kind of both a dark ride and a thrill coaster. In Epcot, there's currently not a ton of thrill rides, which tracks given Epcot's original entertainment theme. Like, look at this quick Google search I did. Most of these aren't thrill rides by any definition. It's really only the Guardians of the Galaxy ride and Mission Space. Sidebar, I really want to get rid of the Guardians of the Galaxy ride for my new Epcot, not because it's a bad ride, I haven't actually gotten the chance to ride it yet either, but because it makes zero sense to be here. Guardians of the Galaxy doesn't even take place in the future, but it's apparently the greatest ride ever built, so whatever, fine, you win with your Marvel stuff, that's what you want, right? To win. So you probably have noticed how much I've been getting off topic during this section is because I'm not actually changing anything. Like, Disney just refurbished it, what could I possibly do to make it better? This truck was sponsored by Chevrolet, which took over from General Motors, but apparently General Motors is going to replace Chevrolet as a sponsor, whatever, as long long as it isn't Tesla. I don't want to accidentally give Elon enough of a stakeholder share in the park where we can rename it to X Center. Oh, right, the mascot. So I got a little weird with it. I wanted to express the concept of motion, specifically kinetic energy, without making the mascot a car, because if I just made the mascot a car, then kids will think it's a character from the movie Cars, and if there's anything Disney hates more, it's muddling continuity of their IPs. So this is Axel. They are based on the Drinking Bird toy, which is commonly and incorrectly cited as an example of perpetual motion. But this isn't a physics video, thank God. But instead of moving things to give me a second. Vaporization. Axel moves by leaning forward and back with your tire, because you know it's still a car ride. You'll see Axel all throughout the ride and in the queue. Basically, they're a mascot of whatever company is hosting the test track. So I guess I am slightly modifying the ride, but this is definitely the cheapest modification I will make to EPCOT. And yes, Axel will be an animatronic in the ride. It's probably one of the easiest animatronics you can make. In fact, all my mascots will be represented in animatronic form. I forbid them to be projections, damn it. Well, with one notable exception, and we'll get to them later. So Mission Space is a simulator thrill ride that takes guests on a mission to Mars, where they're given the role of either a navigator, pilot, commander, or engineer, and they must complete tasks during the ride. If you think that sounds a lot like the Millennium Falcon ride, I mean, sorry, Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, it's because it does. But actually no, because unlike the Millennium Falcon ride, Mission Space spins you around so fast that it resulted in injuries, hospitalizations, and even deaths, and forced Disney to make another version of the ride that doesn't spin. But they still have the spinning version for some reason. This may come as a surprise to you, but I don't want to keep Mission Space. Luckily, out of the thrill rides EPCOT has that I mentioned, this one has the least devoted fan base. The Disney parks don't really have a huge coaster head fan base, and even for coaster heads, simulator rides aren't really the same. So this ride is kind of for no one, and I'm sure there is going to be some Mission Space #1 fan in the comments, and you know what, I would love to hear from you. So what was there before Mission Space? When EPCOT first opened, they had another Omni-Mover dark ride called Horizons. This ride would take guests through show scenes that showcase what the future of Earth may look like. People loved Horizons and still love Horizons, even though it's been closed for over 26 years. The official reasoning was that there was a sinkhole beneath the building. Now you may be wondering, well, if there was a sinkhole in that location, then why would Disney build a simulator thrill ride over it? Wouldn't that create even more stress on the foundation than Horizons would have? So from my research, there was no evidence that there was a sinkhole in that location. However, there was one near the Odyssey building. If you ever wonder why it's randomly surrounded by a lagoon, that's the remnants of the sinkhole. I'm just bringing this up because the Disney wiki page cites the sinkhole as the reason Horizons closed, when it's more likely because General Electric dropped their sponsorship, which meant Disney had to fully pay for any maintenance costs. Anyways, I would love to recreate a fully accurate version of the original Horizons, but there's an issue of it getting outdated. Rides like Horizons and Carousel of Progress both show a vision of the future. The problem is that eventually we'll reach that point in time when that future becomes outdated. Now, there's an easy solution to this. Don't say this is 100% what the future is going to look like. The first part of Horizons ride was called Looking Back at Tomorrow, which explored different ways people from the past envisioned the future, like Jules Verne's, Albert Robida, and even Walt Disney himself. Then your transition into Tomorrow's Windows, which in the ride is canonically what the future will look like. I say just scrap the transition and have the ride be about what Disney thinks the future will look like. And to avoid it becoming outdated, include a lot more sci-fi elements. Basically fantastical stuff, but in a way that could be scientifically possible.
So while editing, I actually thought of an idea for my new Horizons of basically in that section where we explore what other people thought the future would look like, we could totally do like a Frutiger Arrow or Dorific section. Like, imagine that would be such an easy like draw for the younger generation, which I'm a part of. So it's like kind of said it like that. But anyways, yeah, like totally like a Frutiger Arrow scene. You would have like little animatronic fishes and like fake water and fake bubbles and like fake plant life. Like, oh my god, down for the video.
Now, I actually don't want to sponsor for this ride because I really don't want them to add any of their ideas of what the future will look like. Instead, the ride will be sponsored by you. That's right. If Disney Parks fans don't donate to Horizons every year, then Disney will demolish it again and replace it with Hulk swinging fists, an outdoor carnival ride where a giant Hulk figure spins you around really fast and you try not to throw up. I mean, if you guys really love Horizons so much, then you wouldn't let that happen, right? Mascot? Okay, so some people may already say that Horizons already has an unofficial mascot, and that's this robot butler who appeared in the original ride, but he ain't my mascot. However, him and other robots in the ride did inspire my mascot, but my main inspiration was actually Ollie Poly from Roly Poly Ollie. He has such a cute design, I love him. So this is Stuart. He is a robot of the future. His main tasks are similar to a butler, such as cleaning, doing chores, and also importantly keeping time, which is why his head is the clock. And he will appear during one of the ride show scenes, jumping around to clean from high places with his spring appendages. One may say that he is a spring-powered animatronic. A spring animatronic. Hopefully those springs don't block. Hopefully it does not become a spring-clocked animatronic. Okay, I'm gonna stop. Well, you already know I'm not going to get rid of it, but for completion's sake, this ride was built on what was originally Universe of Energy, which was a dark ride that took guests through the history of energy with dinosaurs because of fossil fuels. It also had guests watch a bunch of films like you normally would on a queue, but no, this was part of the ride. It was 45 minutes long. This ride was replaced by Ellen's Energy Adventure, which for all intents and purposes was the same ride, but it had an Ellen DeGeneres animatronic. Wow, it's a manifestation of my nightmares. And that ride was replaced with Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. Now, could I think of a replacement for Cosmic Rewind that brings back Universe of Energy, but refumes it on promoting cleaner energy? Yes, but first of all, that would mean no dinosaur animatronics, which was the main reason anyone actually liked that ride. And again, people seem to really like Cosmic Rewind, and we need to have a good supply of thrill rides in Epcot, especially since I just got rid of one, so yeah. You know what? Screw it. This is my Epcot, and I don't want any Marvel stuff in my Epcot. So we're going to keep the ride the same, but remove all the Marvel theming. This is definitely the most fantastical concept I've come up with because there's no way Disney would do that, but whatever. Instead, we will have famous celebrity scientists host a ride that will have a queue explaining how energy works. And the ride will take you through starting as a molecule born from the Big Bang all the way into being a piece of ham in some kids' Lunchables or whatever product is owned by whatever company decides to sponsor this ride. New name, Cosmic Voyage. Hosts will be Neil deGrasse Tyson and celebrity scientist Dr. Heinz Doofenshmirtz. See, Disney, you can still have your IP, just not Mickey Marvel. Keep that trash for California Adventure. Oh, but how can I forget the mascot for this ride, Jenny E. She is a super hyper ball of, well, something very energetic. And she will help assist Tyson and Doofenshmirtz in educating people on energy. Also, since Doofenshmirtz is going to be one of our hosts of this ride, you're going to be riding one of his crazy inventions, so that's why it's going all over the place. As well as Jenny E, with her zany antics leading to your car getting supercharged and going really fast and stuff. I mean, okay, I don't really know how the ride works because I didn't ride the ride as I said, but I think it's something similar to that, hopefully. But yeah, it'll be the same mechanism, just with a better overlay. Yeah, I said it. What you gonna do? It's my video. The Living Seas, now the Living Seas with Nemo and Friends, is probably one of the most intact Epcot pavilions when it comes to changes made since it was opened. The pavilion consists of an aquarium and a dark ride. Originally, the dark ride skewed a lot more into the edutainment angle, where you basically visit a research base under the sea. The attraction closed on October 21st, 2001 because of declining patronage following the September 11th attacks. Okay, I did not expect 9/11 to show up here. I don't know about you, but this reason feels like an excuse because I'm pretty sure every ride at Disney was affected by 9/11 since people weren't traveling to go on vacation, but I digress. In 2003, Disney rethemed the Living Seas to Finding Nemo, which for all intents and purposes was its sponsor after its official sponsor, United Technologies, dipped out in 1998. For the retheme, we got Turtle Talk with Crush, and the attraction was given a Finding Nemo overlay. From my research, it seems like the aquarium has remained largely unchanged from what it was like when the pavilion opened in 1986. Maybe they added some clownfish and blue tang exhibits, but that seems to be about it. So I actually wouldn't change anything about this pavilion. I guarantee it'll be the last pavilion standing in Future World, and that's in part thanks to Nemo and Friends. Though mainly it's because of the aquarium. The attraction is admittedly pretty boring, but kids seem to like it, and Turtle Talk with Crush. I guess we can try to make the attraction more fun, but in that case we need a lot more space because it's a pretty compact set piece. And if I were to do that, it would mean getting rid of some of the aquarium exhibits, which I really don't want to do, so we'll keep it as it is. I will add a sponsor though, so Disney isn't itching to replace it. Welcome the Living Seas' newest sponsor, OceanGate. See, OceanGate is this company all about deep sea exploration, and they recently... Oh, what's that? I'm sorry, I'm getting a call. Yeah? Oh, they're the company that submarine blew up, and then they're trying to find the Titanic. Welcome to Living Seas' newest sponsor, James Cameron. Because I know he loves the seas, he made so many movies about it. You got Titanic, The Abyss, Avatar 2, of course. Piranha 2. Yeah. Heck, for you, James, we can even add the water Navi to the Nemo attraction. You think families traveling here from across the world give a damn about canon or continuity? Because God forbid your characters from other movies cross over with each other. Like that wasn't the concept of one of your most popular movies of all time. And don't think I forgot about the mascot. Meet Slimily the Sea Slug. Okay, the name could use some work. Before you ask, no, he isn't based on any specific sea slug, rather a combination of multiple kinds of sea slugs I thought looked cool. Now, Slimily won't actually appear in the Nemo/Navi attraction. Instead, he will replace Crush in Total Talk with Crush, which you don't know is basically a meet and greet with Crush, but instead of a costume character, it's an animated puppet being controlled by a cast member somewhere behind the show building. The animation of Total Talk with Crush is starting to get a bit outdated, so making a new show with Slimily is a great way to update the attraction. Slimily has a more goofy and silly personality than Crush, so I guess like Goofy, but he's also very curious. He likes to ask the human audience all about what it's like on the surface. So I guess he's like Ariel. He's a mix of Goofy and Ariel. A strange combination, but I don't know, I feel like it would work. Anyways, I'm getting tired of all this water. Can I get back on land? So the Land Pavilion has two marquee attractions. The first, of course, is Living with the Land, which features a boat ride through biomes found all over the world, and then after you get a tour of Disney World's greenhouse, which grows food products used in the actual Disney park restaurants. The attraction was originally listed to the land. It opened on opening day, but its refurbishment to Living with the Land led to minimal changes. And you can tell because it's one of the very, very few rides that feels like old EPCOT, which means zero changes, baby. Then there's Soarin' Over the World, where you embark on a motion simulator ride of a hang glider flight taking you, well, all over the world. So Soarin' replaced Kitchen Cabaret, which was an animatronic theater show that was also from opening day. That featured talking and singing foods, teaching the guests about nutrition. It was given a refurbishment into a rock and roll themed show as Food Rocks in 1994, and then it was Soarin' 10 years later. So there's no way I can justify replacing Soarin' with Kitchen Cabaret, even though that show looks like a delight. So I'm gonna have my cake and eat it too, because there's actually 3 attractions in the Land Pavilion. Well, if you count a film as an attraction, which I don't. So the theater showed a film called Symbiosis on opening day, and then it was replaced with Circle of Life and Environmental Fable, which was a film that featured the Lion King characters in 1995, and now we have a film called Awesome Planet starting in 2020. So basically just move Kitchen Cabaret to that theater. Now if I were to guess, Kitchen Cabaret would probably need more space than what that theater has, so if that's the case, just scale on the show. But from what I can tell, the animatronics from the show are really small and simple mechanically, so it probably doesn't need that much space, not like something like the Country Bear Jamboree. I mean, Disney would have to make new animatronics anyway, since the original ones are definitely in a landfill somewhere, but it doesn't really seem like that much of an expense. For a show like this, you really just need Chuck E. Cheese caliber animatronics. And imagine if the Land Pavilion had 3 marquee attractions. What a great variety. An animatronic show for kids, a boat ride for people who just want to chill, and a semi-thrill ride for people who want some thrills. The perfect trifecta. Now, who will pay for this? So the Land Pavilion sponsorships were weird. It had both Kraft and Nestle as a sponsor, and then it had Chiquita, Chiquita Banana, sponsoring only Living with the Land. And now none of those rides have sponsors, which is a scary thought. Okay, first of all, Chiquita, come back here. Because you need to be sponsoring Kitchen Cabaret. Your mascot is literally a singing dancing banana. In fact, you should be in the Kitchen Cabaret. Okay, next Soarin' should be sponsored by an airline. Like, come on. And you would do, but I think the funniest would be Spirit Airlines. And if 2 attractions sponsored, we should be good to go, but I don't trust Disney to not get rid of my baby Living with the Land. So you're getting sponsored by one of those companies that owns a bunch of food brands, like ConAgra, PepsiCo, Mondelez. Is Monsanto still around? Maybe we can have a section of the ride where we spray guests with pesticides. Anyways, my mascots, yes you heard me, mascots. For the Land Pavilion will be 3 characters featured in our updated Kitchen Cabaret, which I'll rename as the Food Pyramid Party, as we'll focus on teaching kids about the food pyramid, which I know is actually a pretty bad way to educate kids on nutrition, but I just like the idea of the food singing and dancing to walk like an Egyptian. Sue me. So meet Farley, Penne, and Ellie, based on the pasta shapes farfalle, penne, and campanelle. They are a singing trio, and they'll be our hosts for the Food Pyramid Party, representing the base of the pyramid, grain. And throughout the show, you'll meet foods from the different levels, and they will sing their corresponding songs. Now, I imagine these animatronics will be very small. If we can make all the animatronics small and mechanically simple, then we wouldn't have to worry about the limited space. Okay, so we're officially done with Future World. I mean, we're done with Future World as it exists today, because it's time for... So Wonders of Life opened in 1989 with 2 attractions, Body Wars and Cranium Command. Body Wars is a motion simulator ride that uses the same ride system as Star Tours. So while Star Tours took you on a trip throughout the galaxy, Body Wars took you on a trip inside a human body. So think of a lot of CG animations of blood, organs, flesh. If you're thinking to yourself, that sounds like it would make me want to throw up. And along with the motion simulator aspect of it, that really would probably make me throw up. I mean, in Star Tours, they already have throw up bags in every seat. So just imagine how bad it was to ride Body Wars. Along with Vomit Simulator, there was Cranium Command, which usually wouldn't be an attraction with much to talk about. It was a very simple hybrid animatronic and theater show. You had animatronic named Buzzy, which would guide you through how the human body operates. and you'd view someone's daily life through the lenses of actually being inside them. Yeah, that's right. You had 2 rides on Wonders of Life where the main gist was being inside of someone. I'm surprised they didn't have a ride based off that Magic School Bus episode where they went inside Arnold. I mean, I guess that is just what Body Wars was. So, Wonders of Life closed in 2007. Disney never gave an official reason as to why they closed it. They lost their sponsor MetLife in 2001, so that probably didn't help. And their pavilion's main attraction, Body Wars, wasn't that popular. I wonder why. But the strange thing is that Disney never demolished Wonders of Life. They just left it abandoned, and they would sometimes use it for space for vendors during EPCOT's festivals, like the Food and Wine Festival. They did announce in 2019 plans to reopen Wonders of Life as the Play Pavilion. It would be rethemed to everyone's favorite Disney movie, Ralph Breaks the Internet. Yikes! Luckily, COVID put a stop to those plans, so now it remains abandoned. But since it was abandoned, it allowed for someone to steal something from it. That's right, Buzzy from Cranium Command was stolen in 2018. This was massive news in the theme park community, because who steals an animatronic? Buzzy isn't a very large animatronic, but a small animatronic still weighs like hundreds of pounds. Someone was charged with theft, a Disney ex-employee, who would have guessed, but strangely not of the animatronic himself. However, his clothes were sold on the black market to an NBA star, who I guess is a diehard Disney fan, but also that ex-employee posted on Twitter an image of Buzzy's head. So maybe he destroyed it? Anyways, what should I do with the Wonders of Life Pavilion? Okay, I'm going to reopen it, but I'm not going to bring back any of the previous attractions. Listen, Body Wars is just conceptually a bad idea. And if Buzzy was never stolen, then nobody would be talking about Cranium Command. Instead, we're going to have a large indoor roller coaster inside the pavilion similar to the Tron coaster. Oh, sorry, I mean Tron's Light Cycle Run at Tomorrowland in Disney's Magic Kingdom. This ride will be called Viral Spiral, and it'll be about you and your fellow riders as a group of white blood cells, never immune cells, trying to fight against a virus that has infected the human you're inside of. So yes, it's another ride where you're inside someone, but it's more conceptual since the ride will probably only feature a few screens during the pre-show and end screen. During the pre-show, you'll meet the mascots for the new Wonders of Life. Pseudocytokine, which if you don't know, cytokines are proteins which are chemical messengers that tell your immune systems what to do. I mean, that's a very simplified explanation, but see, we're getting educational with it. Also, you have Vicky the virus. She is a non-specific virus which is not based on any particular virus, because that can go very wrong very quickly if it is. Anyways, for environmental storytelling, this roller coaster will take you through what the immune system does when it's trying to fight against a virus. Like there's a section where there's fire effects to showcase getting a fever, or a section where there's a large drop to show feeling queasy. See, Body Wars still haunts the narrative. This will be the only attraction in the new Wonders of Life, as I assume it will need a lot of space. Maybe if it's successful, we can add some other things, but again, their pavilion is made up of only one ride, so I don't think it matters. Oh, I almost forgot to sponsor. I guess they could just be one of the big pharma companies. Which one makes Ozempic? That's trendy. Okay, we're finally done with Future World. So all that's left is... I'm going to speed through my changes for World Showcase because, as I said before, it's not what I consider to be the problem with EPCOT. There'll be some changes, but nothing as drastic as what I did with Future World. Maybe. Well, we'll see. So I'm going to go through the list. We're starting with Mexico, even though I'm of the mindset that you should start with Canada and end with Mexico, but we're doing this for a specific reason that you'll find out later. Mexico, it's perfect as it is. I love the Mesoamerican pyramid, and I think the attraction inside the Free Caballeros ride is cute. Also, any plans I had for a different ride inside the pyramid is already going to happen with the upcoming Indiana Jones ride in Animal Kingdom. So, Norway. Oh, I know, you're gonna bring back Maelstrom, right? That's what you're gonna do? Guys, no one loves to write about mythology like me, but I'm already pushing it with changing the Guardians of the Galaxy ride. You think Disney's gonna let me touch Frozen Ever After? Also, my main problem with that ride was the projection face animatronics, but Disney's actually gonna change them into the traditional audio animatronics. I actually think they already have by the time this video was released. Listen, Maelstrom was not a popular ride, and my focus for education is on the Future World side of Epcot, because if we actually want a World Showcase to educate people about different cultures, then that entire section would need to be demolished and rebuilt with an entire army of cultural sensitivity consultants. The only attraction at the China Pavilion is one of those Circle Vision shows. Canada has the same thing, so people usually skip these areas, and I don't blame them. You know, Dueling Dragons at Universal? What if we just did that and gave it a Mulan overlay? I mean, listen, is that literally the first thing I came up with? Yes. But would it be insanely popular? Also yes. But I actually fear that would cause them to destroy some of the pretty buildings in that area, so maybe we should just keep it as it is. This is a chill area of the park. You know, a place for parents to rest while their kids watch Cocomelon on their iPads. Germany, again, not a lot. It's really known for its food and drinks, which, hey, I'm not complaining. Not every area on World Showcase needs a ride. And the Disney movies that do take place in Germany, most people don't even know take place in Germany. Like what we would have a Snow White or Tangled ride. I don't really think that fits. There were plans for a Germany Rhine River cruise, basically a boat ride where you see some famous German landmarks, but I don't think it's worth it, so we'll just leave it as it is. It's okay, because I have an idea for something guests can do in all the country pavilions. Italy, once again, is mostly known for its food and drink selections, and I think that's ideal for an Italy pavilion. I mean, can we get a walk around a character with Mona Lisa, like the woman herself, but she appears as she does in the painting? I think that would be cool. But I suppose if you did want to be extra, you could carve out artificial rivers out of the lagoon that is in the center of World Showcase and make a Venice gondola ride. It would be similar to the Jungle Cruise with the person manning your gondola, which would have to be a really big gondola to fit a substantial amount of riders, to crack jokes and speak in a stereotypical Italian accent. Don't worry, I'm a third Italian, so I can suggest that. The American Adventure. Demolish it. We already have this. It's called Main Street USA. We don't need another. Instead, let's go through the list of scrap pavilions for World Showcase and choose one to replace it. Spain. Well, that would make sense. We have Germany and Italy, so why not Spain? Venezuela. Oh, well, I don't think that would be a good idea right now. Costa Rica? Yeah, that could be fun. But I fear the expansion of Animal Kingdom is already going in on Central America. Denmark. Ooh, yeah, we can't do Denmark. We are kind of also beefing with them right now. Switzerland? Oh, a Swiss chalet restaurant would be so cute. And apparently what featured an East Coast Matterhorn. Russia, the Philippines? Oh, I bet that would have some really good food and drink options. Iran. Equatorial Africa. Okay, Disney, that isn't a country. Africa has a ton of countries. You can't just do a hodgepodge of them. Let's see, is there any more? There's one more. What is it? An Israel pavilion? Israel! Yeah, okay, so Spain, Switzerland, and the Philippines, those would all work. I think Spain would make sense here because it would be near Italy and Germany, and although Switzerland with an East Coast Matterhorn would be a pretty easy slam dunk for EPCOT, I think it would be too similar to my idea for Japan. Again, there's not a lot to do in Japan, which is why I'm going to resurrect a previous idea. Actually, did you know there are going to be 2 thrill-ride attractions planned for the Japan Pavilion? One is going to be a bullet train coaster, and the other one is going to be a Mount Fuji coaster, where it was going to be similar to the Matterhorn Expedition Everest over at Animal Kingdom, with an alleged encounter of a giant Godzilla animatronic. So we're doing that Mount Fuji roller coaster, but no Godzilla because why would it be inside of Mount Fuji? Also, I'm pretty sure Universal had the theme park rights to Kaiju, or at least Toho would be way more likely to give those rights to them than to Disney. Instead, we'll have a generic Japanese dragon inside. When I researched, there are no Japanese myths involving some creature inside of Mount Fuji. We can make up some story and say that the dragon was intentionally sealed inside of Mount Fuji, and the reason why Mount Fuji erupts is because that's the dragon spewing out fire, or something like that. Anyways, you'll take an expedition inside of Mount Fuji, encounter the dragon, maybe some fire effects, and it'll probably be the most popular ride in EPCOT. You're welcome, Bob. Morocco, known for its food and drinks. I was considering replacing it since I think next to Canada is the most empty pavilion, but it is our only country representing Africa, and I do think that kind of representation is important in an area called World Showcase. France used to be known for its food and drinks, but now is known for the Ratatouille ride. Oh, sorry, I mean Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, which is another trackless dark ride, and it's another ride I've never been on. Whoops, that was good because I'm gonna leave it as it is. The United Kingdom, it is not known for its food nor drinks, because what food and drinks? Beans on toast and a cuppa? But in 2018, Disney announced plans for a Mary Poppins dark ride. You may be asking, 2018, was it cancelled? I don't know. But if I'm in charge, that project is getting fast-tracked because this pavilion needs something. Look at this concept art. It's freaking beautiful, man. The most beautiful the UK is ever gonna look, and I know that's for true. And then there's Canada. Oh, Canada. Au revoir. Listen, not every American has been to Canada, but I feel like Canada is never on someone's list of places to go to, so why is it here? Instead, we'll be adding a Brazil pavilion. Why? Well, first of all, it would finally allow World Showcase to have representation from every continent, except Oceania and, I guess, Antarctica. And for a ride, it's easy. A dark ride boat ride through the Amazon rainforest. Basically like Navi River Journey in Animal Kingdom, but you know, good. Like, we'll have many different simple animatronics of Amazon rainforest animals instead of a screen and plastic toys and one really impressive animatronic at the end. So those are all the countries. Don't worry too much about the sponsorships. This area of the park really doesn't need them, but even if they do, since the theme for these pavilions is just an entire country, you have a lot more choices. Now I want to talk about DuckTales World Showcase Adventure, which was formerly Agent P's World Showcase Adventure, which was formerly Kim Possible World Showcase Adventure. This is an interactive scavenger hunt that guests can play throughout the World Showcase. During their adventure, guests will be given a task to complete at a certain pavilion, and after completion of their task, they'll see some interactive element in that area. It's a very simple but fun game that also helps keep guests entertained throughout the day. But as you can see, a problem is that they need to keep updating experience as they're based on Disney Channel cartoons, and DuckTales ended quite a bit ago, so they're likely to refilm it again, or worse, get rid of it entirely. If you couldn't guess it already, this is where World Showcase's new mascot will come in. Meet Portia the Passport, starring in the new World Showcase adventure. Portia is an agent for EPCOT, also known as Elaborate Protocol for Countries Over Time Zones, or something cute like that. Basically, an evil organization has the plan to flood World Showcase by detonating bombs under the lagoon, and it's your job to stop them. I mean, it's probably not going to be like that because I feel like kids would actually get scared because they're going to worry all day that that lagoon in EPCOT is going to blow up and flood everything because they didn't complete the task in time. But you know, something along those lines. Will you follow instructions given by the app on your phone? You'll also be given a physical version of Portia. You'll will take her to get stamped at every pavilion or world showcase after you complete a given task. And of course, the interactive elements will also show up when you complete the task. If you don't know, a lot of these are very simple animatronics, like for example, one of them could be like a cuckoo clock, and when you complete a task, the cuckoo clock activates, and then you might see Portia and some other characters introduced during the event. So for the stamps, they already do this. It's called EPCOT Fun Stops, where you basically get something stamped from each country. I remember when I was a kid, they gave me a stick with like a Mickey head, and I think they were just stamped a stick. I think it was supposed to be a mask, I don't know. But we're combining these two concepts so kids and guests can have a lasting memento of their adventure at World Showcase. So as I said, every pavilion will have an interactive element. We'll give the countries without attractions more elaborate interactive elements, so each country can at least have something. What's nice about this new World Showcase adventure is that it uses original characters so you don't have to worry about it becoming outdated, and it's a more elaborate version of the concept that will help unify World Showcase as one whole pavilion. So, raise your hand if as an EPCOT fan you felt personally victimized by this video. Listen, I try to make an EPCOT for the people, but too many of you just want the old things from your childhood back, and that's not how you design a theme park. EPCOT is literally about innovation. You can bring back the old stuff because it was admittedly better than what we have now, but you need to expand on it, bring it to the future. That's what Walt would have wanted. Well, I mean, actually, Walt would have wanted to rule the entire city of the future of an iron fist and create a dystopia that's primed for a teen YA dystopian novel. But this was probably a close second. If you liked this video, then give it a big thumbs up. And if you didn't, well, express yourself in the comments down below. I would love to hear from you. But I'll catch you next time. Oh, my next plans? Well, let's just say I'm still on an animatronic kick after making this video, so who knows? Oh, and before I forget, don't forget to smile.
Hey, kid, can you duck down for this picture?
What? Why?
It's our family photo. You're kind of getting in the way.
I'm not ducking down. You duck down. You're getting in my way.
Stop being a brat and duck down.
No way. In fact, I'm standing.